Hi, it's Miss Denise. It's been such a pretty day today that I wanted to be outside. I had to go back in and get my jacket though because it's a lot colder than I thought it was. I think it was being in the sun and now I'm in the shade. Do you remember last fall when I talked to you about how sad I was that all of the flowers and the leaves were dying and falling off the trees? And it made me so sad because it just seemed like a dreary, dull time. I read you the scripture verse then. It comes from Ecclesiastes. I've got my Bible, but I printed it out a little bit bigger because it's easier for me to see. Ecclesiastes 3, 2 through 8, when it talks about there's a time for everything, where it says a right time for birth and another for death, a right time to plant and another to reap, a right time to kill and another to heal, a right time to destroy and another to construct, a right time to cry and another to laugh, a right time to be sad and another to cheer, a right time to make love and another to abstain, a right time to embrace and another to part, a right time to search and another to count your losses, a right time to hold on and another to let go, a right time to rip out and another to mend, a right time to shut up and another to speak up, a right time to love and another to hate, a right time to wage war and another to make peace. And at that time we talked about how God had a time for everything, and it was all going to be good because God had a time, and that one of these days before too long we'd start to see new life again, and the trees would come back and the flowers would come back. Now when you look at my yard behind me, it still looks pretty dead, doesn't it? No leaves on the trees, no flowers in the yard. But if you get up closer, let me show you some things. When you get close, do you see the new flowers that are growing, that are coming up out of the ground, out of all this dirt and leaves? And do you see the tiny buds that are on those bare trees? That's where new leaves are going to form, and they're already getting ready. And then look at the big buds on this tree. This tree is going to be covered with pink flowers before too long. And my daffodils, you can see where the buds are coming up on them, and they're going to bloom into beautiful yellow daffodils. And my bushes, they look dead, but when you get close, you can see that right out of the middle of them, they're starting to grow again. And these look dead, but look closely at the edges, at the ends. You see the tiny buds where they're getting ready to bloom again? Things look dead still, but if you get really close, you're going to see that things are starting to bud and come to life. You might have heard us talking about this season of Lent that we're in right now. These are the days, the weeks leading up into Easter. And these are the times when we think about Jesus suffering and dying on the cross and all the things that he did for us. But we know that come Easter morning, we are going to be celebrating the fact that Jesus came back to life. And by then, all of these buds and all of these flowers and all of these trees will be blooming. It's just like Jesus. We are waiting for that new time to come where life is new again. We're waiting because we know that Jesus has to suffer and die and things have to look dead. But while we're waiting, we know that something good is coming. And that's what we know about spring. We know that Jesus is coming back to life, that he will not stay dead. We know that our flowers are going to bloom again. And this long winter that we've been in with the snow and the cold is going to come to an end. And this time of being separated due to the coronavirus, COVID, the pandemic, whatever you call it, that's going to come to an end. Because God has it all taken care of. There's a plan. There's a time for everything. And I found a verse in Genesis 8:22. And this is a verse that God gave after the flood, after everything had been destroyed, and Noah was coming out with his animals, and he was getting ready to start everything anew again. And God said, "For as long as the earth lasts, planting and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will never stop." I think that is the best news, because we know that God has got it taken care of. That it seems dark, it seems cold, things seem dead, things seem hopeless, but we know that he tells us it's not going to stay that way. It's going to change. There's a time for everything, and it's going to get better. And we know that come Easter morning, we know that Jesus will be risen again, and we will be celebrating that, just like we'll be celebrating all the new life out here outside. Hang in there. It's getting close to time when we can be back together again, and I can't wait for that. I am ready to see you all face to face. Have a good day. Bye-bye.